Fellow countrymen, as we all know, over the past few days, we've had talks in town about the impeachment or removal from office, that is of the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua. And looking at it in a different perspective, I'm seeing possible dangers that might come with it. As we all know, anybody who is living in Kenya today would testify that things are not easy. There are several corruption cases. We have issues that have not been settled and are not transparent enough, like the Adani deal. The cost of living, of course, is still high. During the protests, the Gen Z protests, several lives were lost, several properties were destroyed, and we have some of this being directed to the government, and the government has not really responded the way people expected that to happen. And therefore, with that, among many others, the anger of the public keeps increasing day by day. And so with the impeachment of the deputy president, I'm seeing a possibility of a section of Kenyans who are his supporters coming out to demonstrate against that. And since there's this public anger, we all know that it's possible that whenever a simple or a small group starts protests, then a big number of people would join them. So with a small group of people or a good number of people coming out to demonstrate against the impeachment of the deputy president, if at all that happens, I'm seeing a possibility of a season 2, if I can refer to it that way, coming back, a season 2 of protests. Like we'll have the Gen Z, the millennials, among many other generations within the Kenyan within the Kenyan borders, coming out to not only protest about the issues affecting Kenyans, but also a possibility of a good number coming out to also protest, saying that the president must also resign. As the common phrase today across the country, which we all hear people say, kufa dereva, kufa makanga. So with the impeachment of the deputy president, many people might also come out protesting and forcing the president to resign. So I'm seeing a possibility of another big demonstration or demonstrations that would take longer happening again. Number 2, I'm also seeing a possibility. Remember, this government is just 2 years into office. They've not achieved much. And we see more problems created or caused by this government than good. So, and even the agendas they had, most of them have not been achieved or realized. And by the deputy president being impeached, I'm seeing a possibility of both the leaders or politicians who will remain in government and those who will then join the opposition forgetting about service delivery to the people and concentrating on the 2027 presidential or general elections. So I'm seeing a possibility of Rigathi Gachagua joining hands with other forces like Kalonzo Musyoka or a number of people, even those who maybe are not in the public limelight, and even those who people are in the public limelight but people don't really expect them to form part or walk the same path with the deputy president today. I'm seeing a possibility of a reunion of different people, and then they'll be campaigning towards the 2027 general elections. And then as a result, because we all know that we have a president who loves being on the roof of the vehicles, we'll also see him out there also campaigning for the 2027 general elections. So I'm seeing a possibility of The government forgetting about service delivery to the people and even their manifesto, and then concentrating on winning the 2027 general elections. Number three, I'm seeing a possibility of what none of us would really want to happen. That is a civil war. Because how this impeachment thing has been positioned, or the perspectives that are coming with it, you realize that it's coming out as a fight of one community against the other, or several communities against the other. That is how dangerous the political class is putting it out there. And as a result, when it really happens that the deputy president is actually impeached, we never know what might follow next. But I'm also seeing a possibility of a community coming out thinking that this war is against them. And that would really be a very big challenge to the government. Because if that starts, and then we also have other people join in to also demonstrate following the issues they also have at hand, then we'll have a country that is not governable. We'll have a country that most people or even the tourists are worried and fear visiting. So it's kind of very tricky, because okay, the allegations that are out there, if at all they hold any tangible evidence, then they are very key. But if it's just a political process, then it would really plunge the country into a very difficult state. But also either way, the same way it has been posed, because today you realize the deputy president has won the heart of so many through sympathy. So even those who are not supporting him, a good number have now joined his camp and are now supporting him. And then also whatever comes out, if at all it goes to the courts, I know today most Kenyans have really lost hope in the legislature arm of government, and a good number still have hope in the judiciary. So maybe again what would happen at the judiciary after this, if at all it reaches there, would also mean a lot to Kenyans, because then it would either worsen the situation or maybe redeem the judiciary from the claims or issues that has been there before. We also have to remember that the formation of this government from inception, Rigathi Gachagua was part and parcel of it. And when they formed government, being second in command, he knows so much about this government, where the loopholes are, issues that are there, if at all there are corruption cases. I'm quite sure he knows who did what, at what point, how much of it did he or she get involved in. And so I'm seeing a possibility of also him using this information and the network he has within the government and even the security forces to not only maybe go home alone, maybe after telling the public what has really transpired, but also ensuring he goes home with a majority who forms part of this government, including even the president himself. Looking at Gachagua, I don't really think he is who maybe many people thinks he is. I'm seeing a man who calculates a lot, and somebody who would even look like he's worried or even affected with something, but in real sense, somewhere down, he's very busy calculating the next move. And remember, there's a man who has maybe posed himself out there as a villager. as many other people would refer him in the political class. But looking at his statements, looking at his movements, looking at the realignments he has always been having, and the change or use of words frequently, that would tell you that he is someone who knows what he's doing and calculates a lot. So I'm also seeing a possibility of him, if at all they manage to impeach him or remove him from office. I'm also seeing a possibility of him using whatever resource he has at his disposal to ensure the political class, the policy, the strategy between now and 2027 completely changes. With that in mind, what are your thoughts? What are your views or opinions in this? I know maybe you have something or thinking of something positive or maybe something negative. I would really want to know what you are thinking through the comment section. My name is Quach.